financial empowerment is I will use home ownership as a foundation for financial empowerment. Now, everybody doesn't own a home, but the reason that's the first thing, because a home offers stability. How many of you have ever rented and had to move, either because the landlord said you had to move, or they were changing the apartments or whatever? It offers stability, and when you buy a home, you're building equity. You're paying yourself, basically. When you pay rent to a landlord, you're making him rich. You're buying his building. And the thing is everybody can't buy a home right now, but it should be a part of your plan. If that's what you want to do. I shouldn't say everybody has to buy a home, but it's a good foundation as far as financial empowerment. Principle number 2, I will use a budget as a tool to manage my income and financial obligations. Principle 3, I will maximize my financial potential by living within my means. Number 4, I will save 5 to 10% of my income for myself. Number 5, I will begin and maintain a retirement planning program. Number 6, I will use insurance to protect my income and my assets. Number 7, I will have a will prepared and ensure my assets are properly managed in the future. These are 7 principles that can lead, I believe, to financial empowerment. And Dr. King said, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step. So right now, what I'm going to do is hand out, thank you, Lasagna, hand out declarations of financial independence, financial empowerment. And the thing is, what you have to do, there's a space for you to sign it, that today you're declaring that you want to be financially empowered. And like I said, you don't have to do everything. Today you might just decide, you know what, I'm going to start using a budget. I'm going to start saving some money. I'm going to start a retirement plan. But the thing is just take the first step. And the first step really, just sign the Declaration of Empowerment. Just sign it today and say, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to make a change. Yes. Dr. King said, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. It's not just about today. Remember, we're here in the beginning. It's not just about today. Just take the first step in faith. You don't have to do everything today. Like I said, today, you just might say, I'm going to start saving money. I'm going to stop spending money foolishly. Just take the first step. You can make a change. Being here today was part of a change. You could be doing something else. You're getting information to help empower you to make a change. And like I said, it takes time. It took time to get a lot of people into the situations they're in. It takes time to get out of the situation, but it's one step at a time. And it can be done. And it can be done. A lot of times we get impatient about changing behavior for the positive, but believe me, that's all it takes is one step at a time. One step at a time. One of the big things that keep us from making the change that we want to make is we look at the process instead of the results. I've given you a lot of information tonight. We've talked about goals and budgeting. And the process to making change is setting goals, tracking our expenses, making it a budget, sticking to it, saving money. And sometimes we say, that's too hard, I can't do that. We think about the process instead of thinking about the results. The results, financial freedom, increased saving, decreased debt. If we look at the results and stop focusing on the process, before we know it, we will have achieved our dreams. Even when we lose weight, what do we think? I got to stop eating this, I got to stop doing that. Instead of, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to do, what I want to do. We have to do the same thing when it comes to our money. We're going to look at that house we're going to own. We've got to look at that credit card at a zero balance instead of what it takes to get there. And in summary, budgeting is important to help us reach our goals. Without it, you might not know where your money's going. Make a budget today. It can be simple as a paper budget. Make a budget today. Banking and credit can be helpful if used the right way. You can control your credit score. Get a free copy of your credit report today. Who's pulled a free copy of their credit report within the last 12 months? Those of you who haven't, get a free copy today. You'll see what's on your credit report. At least you'll know what's on there. It's free. You'll know if it's accurate. You'll know what's on your credit report. And another reason it's so important, because identity theft is one of the biggest crimes that's being perpetrated today. People are stealing people's identities. They're taking their social security numbers. Yes, sir. See? And that's right. And a lot of times we find out people use our social security number because we look at our credit report and we find something on there that we didn't buy. So it's so important. Get a copy of your credit report today. You must be willing to change in order to change this or any information into action. Lots of information, good information, but you must be willing to make a change. And information is only useful if you use it. So we put a lot of information out there, but if you're not going to use it, it's not useful. It's not useful. I want you to do two more things for me, but one thing. Out of all that we've talked about, somebody here is thinking, I want to make a change. And even if you're not, I want you to make a change. And what I have is forms. They're called SMART goal forms. And these forms, I want you to just choose one thing, one goal, and decide that you're going to do something different. That one goal might just be pulling your credit report. It might be sitting down and talking to someone about making a will. It might be talking about getting life insurance. It might be talking about restoring your credit. It might be, I'm going to stop spending money foolishly, or not. No, that's not specific. It might be stop buying, that $4 or $5 cup of coffee every day, or I'm going to start saving $5 a week or whatever. But what I'd like you to do is to fill that out. Make it smart, specific, make it measurable and attainable, something you can do. I'm gonna make $1 million by next month, unless you're Preston. But make it attainable and relevant and timely. You have to put a deadline on it. I'm gonna do it by the end of this month, the end of this year. Because if it's someday, it's not going to happen. So write a goal for yourself. And it's exciting when you look back on it and say, I did this. So write a goal for yourself. And the last thing I'll ask you to do is to fill out an evaluation. Fill out an evaluation for me. But before we go there, I want to know if there's any questions about anything. Any questions about anything. They could be for me, they could be for Michelle, but just let me know. Yes. Would you stand up, please?
One of the things that I saw in the advertisement is that you guys were going to talk about how much to take out of your taxes or out of your paychecks. Is that something that you guys
Thank you. Thank you. What questions do you have about that?
Like, I have a lot coming out of my paychecks that I don't have a lot of money in my hands, my net pay. So I was just concerned about, like, with the 401k, with the all the taxes, with the savings. It's just so much coming out that it leaves me very little to work with.
Okay.
And I put those little envelopes that you described. I take out of all of them just because there's not enough.
Okay, and that's very important. That's a good question. One of the things about withholdings and taking out, and I hope I answer your question, and I wanted to bring up withholding because what some people do is withholding, they don't have enough withheld. So at the end of the year, during tax time, they owe the government money. I've had people come to me, and because they've had 0 federal taxes taken out, 0 state taxes taken out, instead of getting a refund, they literally owed $1,800. They didn't make that much. They made about $32,000 a year. They owed the government $1,800. So it's important when you're filling out your W-4 that you fill it out correctly so you have the right amount taken out. Now, getting to your question,